everybody? I'm going to answer some emails, okay, on Schneider IC choice, and most of them are going to be location, where the loads are, and we'll get to those. First of all, this guy wants to know about APUs. Most trucks do have APUs on the new trucks, and they're going to be idle free on the Freightliners. No diesel, it'll be all electric. There's some pros and cons with that I'll go in detail in a later video on that. But it really, especially if you want to get used, it really has something that is specific to a certain truck on a used truck. Some of them do, some of them won't. He also wants to know how you keep cool and everything, and he's from Connecticut, I believe. So if you run up in the Northeast, yeah, it gets hot up there, but for the most part, most of these trucks have APUs to keep you cool. It also gets cold up there, and most of these trucks have bunk heaters in them too. So it's a new age. It's not all about what your truck has and what it doesn't have. Most of them do have some sort of auxiliary heating and cooling unit, especially heating, are very, very common these days, especially on the new trucks. Older trucks, just depends. This guy wants to know if, he's got a record of job hopping and stuff like that. And Schneider Finance, especially Schneider Finance, doesn't really, they kind of frown on that because they're the ones that, that you're going to be paying, okay? You're going to be paying them to drive the truck, okay? You're leasing the truck through them. They're going to make sure you make the payments, just like any creditor would do. So, yeah, job hopping, you need to, they've got certain requirements. You'd have to go on the website. I believe it's 6 months. But, folks, if you're looking at doing this, and if you're wanting to do, if you've had a record of job hopping, get at a company and stay there for a year, okay? And just go with the flow. And then in a year later, you've got some longevity under your belt, and it'll actually look better on your application for sure. So do that. Show that you're going to have some longevity. Those are some things. All right, now the rest of these questions are going to be about where we live, okay? This fella wants to know, he lives in South Carolina. The recruiter says they like for you to be out 10 to 14 days. Yeah, you be out 10 to 14 days. You need to know, this is what you need to do. That's the way I did it. Sure, I get home every day. Sometimes I'll take a night, where I'm going to do something overnight, if, the pay's right. But I got it figured out. This is what's going to happen. Most of these guys are rookies coming in here, and they're thinking, oh, look at all this home time I'm going to get. I get to choose, and they fail because they're spending too much time at home. You've got to get out of that. Do you have to spend out here months? No. What you need to do when you first start out here is get the system. The only way to get the system is be out here, not at home. You've got to study. Because it's different. You can be a truck driver for 20 years. All right? This is totally new. Being your own dispatcher, keeping your money rolling. So that's the reason why I've got a lot of experience being a truck driver, but being a driver is the easy part. All right? You've got to be able to plan. So, especially at first, as you get to know the system, you need to plan on being out there. Yeah, you can get home, you can take your 10-hour break, but you got to plan on being out there. All right? And get out in the Midwest. Make some runs. Get that money up. That means everything. And then you're going to start seeing, oh, look at this load. They do this load every single week or every single day or something like that. Maybe I could do this. I may not get home every night, but I could be home, multiple times a week. And for family men like us, that means everything. So yeah. So South Carolina though is a good place. There's some good stuff going in and out of South Carolina. Joseph wants to know about Alabama. I see a lot of stuff going in Alabama. I spent a lot of time in Alabama. Listen, Alabama's a long up and down state, so there's like two sections, north and south. North pays a little better than the south. There's a lot of paper mills, a lot of stuff that's heavy. So you gotta kind of look at that. Stuff that's regional in the southeast, good stuff. So Alabama, you're good. You can get home every night? No. Most people don't. Even if they try, they can't. But you can get home, at a fairly, you can just stay in your area. It's possible if you do your studying on that load board, and this all comes with time. You can't just sit there and say, hey, I'm going to see if he knows about my load. No, get on the system, figure it out. You'll start looking and see what works for you. What works for me may not work for someone else. Florida. This guy wants to know about Florida. He lives in Florida, has been LTL, and gets home all the time. He's been doing that quite a bit. Now he's wanting to look at getting into this. Man, this is fun stuff to do. This is fun stuff, what I do. But Florida has got this problem that other parts of the country has. Florida is, you got so many trucks coming in, but there's very little loads coming out. So, Schneider's good about getting loads. They're good about getting loads. They know how to do their stuff. Problem is that you're going to have these shippers are, sitting there saying, okay, I need this to be delivered. And they're going to have all these guys come in and say, I want it. All right? The shipper has the upper hand. They can control the rates. Why? Because there is not as big as there's more of a demand for the shipper than what there is for the truck. Okay? So, being that said, if you live in the sand pile down there on the peninsula of Florida, you're not going to get home a lot. You're just not going to get home a lot. Maybe every other week, because you're going to take it in the butt. You're going to take it in the butt coming out. You get a good load coming in, but going out. So, unless you live in the Jacksonville area, that's a lot better. In the northern part of Florida, down along in there, you could get by. There's a lot, southern Georgia, if you could deal with that. But if the further south you go into Florida, the worse it is. And so, my advice, is you're not going to get home all the time. And if that's fine with you, great. I don't know if Schneider's going to hire you or release you or what have you when you live down there. But what I can tell you is, from what I know, loads going in is good, loads going out sucks, and they're few and far between. You may have to deadhead, and that costs a lot of money in fuel. So that's just how it goes. Listen, Colorado is the same way. Good stuff going in. It's a good populated area around Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo, all up through there. But that's it. Okay, and they got some warehouses. You can take your stuff in to your grocery warehouses, Walmarts, or Targets, or whatever. But coming out, it's junk. Pallets, trash. There may be a couple paper mills of beer, but they're all low rates. It's a pretty state, but that's it. Go there on vacation. Go there once in a blue moon. If you just want to do it, then do it. But Do you live in Colorado? If you live in Colorado, ooh, man, that's gonna suck coming out. So I don't know if it's as bad as Florida, but you know, seeing the rates coming out of there, and there's some company drivers get paid more than some of those rates. That they suck. So yeah, Colorado's the same way. Saw a guy on Facebook talking about Albuquerque, living in Albuquerque. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, I mean, I think Albuquerque's worse because you got less places to deliver to there. So I don't really even know if Schneider Finance is going to even touch you, or if Schneider themselves are going to touch you when you live in sparsely populated areas like that. Regional runs. We had a guy on here. Let me see. There's a guy. Maybe I lost his email here. I think I lost his email. I had it up. He asked about the Arklatex area, the Texas, Oklahoma, and stuff that I run. Man, you can get home all the time. There's so much. I mean, Texas has so much in this area. You make a lot of money in this area. Make a lot of money in this area. You don't have to leave. Can if you want. There's loads going out. You know, loads going out don't really pay that well, but loads coming back in pays pretty good. But regional runs, man, you got it. I mean, there's just so much, you know, from Texas to the north or southeast, there's a lot. And then you have places out there around like California and Arizona. If you lived out there, you could do pretty good out there and just be regional out there. And that's really where a lot of people are making their money. Well, it's not going to give away any secrets out here. A lot of people are making their money working regionally. They don't go out there. You know, they could go up north and then come back. People run different ways. And what works for them may not work for other people. But he asked about the DFW market. It's a good market. It's a good market. And you know, you could actually get on a good run going from Dallas to Houston, San Antonio, get your load coming back up pallets or something back up to Dallas and do that. Wouldn't work for me because I live way out here in East Texas, out of the way, or I'd be doing that. Some good stuff doing that. So look into that. Oklahoma and back, Arkansas and back, Louisiana and back. If you want further, the choice is yours. That's the reason why they call it the choice board and not whatever. You know, the choice is yours. Had a guy here asking about West Virginia. West Virginia, and I emailed him back. I told him, now the loads going out of there are not a whole bunch of them, but you got to remember, people go through West Virginia like gangbusters. And West Virginia is a good through route. So is that a good place to live? Yes. Had another guy on here ask about Virginia. Virginia is really good. Better than West Virginia. West Virginia is a good through route. Good place to go through. Just stop by the house through there. Loads coming out, they're kind of sparse. It's a sparsely populated area. I mean, there's some areas, but it's a mountainous little state there. And it's a beautiful state. I love our West Virginia. But you just got to think about, time. You know, most of these guys weren't to ask me about, loads in their area. Most of them say, I'd like to be, I've got a family and I like to provide for them, but I also like to be there. And you can be there. West Virginia is a great, great place to be there. Florida, no. Guy asked me about Virginia. Virginia is a good place. If you draw a line from I-35, from Laredo all the way up through Minnesota, draw a line going east, and you're looking good. You are looking good. You draw a line going west, it's going to suck until you get to the extreme west coast and Arizona, Utah, in that area. There's some loads going back and forth in there. But through the Rockies and stuff like that, if you live in those areas, it's going to suck. New Mexico, you're going to suck. West Texas, it's going to suck. Just because you got to think where the people are. Where are the people? Like I said, draw a line. I-35 and east. You live in those areas, you should be good. And when I look at the load board, I could pretty much choose wherever I want any day of the week going out to those places. I like going to Arizona, but there are so many times that, I don't know, there's not a lot. There's not a lot going out there, okay? And when there is, it's, you know, people kind of like, hey, I like to go out there for a change of scenery. They go out there and they're going quick. They pay pretty good going there and pretty good coming back. It's not, it doesn't set the, you know, woods on fire or anything, but it's average. You know, it's not no $2 a mile, but you get between $1.50, $1.80 in that area. I'm sure, you know, a lot of times. Again, look at your weights on there. Load board has its weights, and you know. And here's another thing before I go. I see people put stuff on the load board. I mean, put videos and pictures of the load board out there, and you know, Schneider frowns on that. So if you're watching this and you're a YouTuber and you've put the load board and put the screen on your video, Schneider frowns on that, and that's the reason why I can't do shots of the load board. I can't do it. There's confidential information on there, okay? And so I can't do that publicly. If you've got a question about something, ask me privately about a certain load or whatever, or a certain state, wherever. Give me a shot. You know, give me an email. I could tell you what's in your area. Can't really tell you the customer names or anything like that, and I can give you ballpark rates too. I can't give you 100% on that. So hey, if you got questions, email me. I will get with you when I can. I tell you, I love the email because it's like, okay, now I could sit down and email back, where on Facebook it's just like unorganized and everything. This is far more organized, and I can get your questions here on in video as well. I can kind of explain a little better too. So again, email me, ke5wdp@hotmail.com if you've got questions. Some of the guys have said, hey, I got a referral going your way, and I appreciate it. I won't ask you for a referral. That's just not who I am. So if you say, hey, I want to get you an email, let me know. That way, we could exchange information, okay? But because I definitely enjoy that money, I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to sit out here and beg for it. I'm not going to sit out here and make my money off of it. There's some YouTubers out there that's where they make their money, is off referrals. Not me. It's when I get referrals, it's like money that hasn't been in my budget, so it's like a Christmas present. Okay? I don't budget referrals in like other drivers do. Other drivers I could see on YouTube have depended on referrals. That's the reason why they do, I'm pro this company, I'm pro that company, because they depend on them. I've never depended on a referral, never will. I won't even come out here and ask you. I will not email you and say, can I have your information, try and have a referral? No, I won't do that. But if you do, we'll do it. That's just how I operate. Hey, I appreciate y'all watching, and until next time, maybe I'll do a trucker rag chew or something. I don't know. I've just been home every night and been busy. All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good weekend wherever you're at whenever you watch this. 73.